So what do you see out there today, Ryan?
Good energy. Our numbers are good right now in terms of guys we got on the roster comparatively to a year ago. Guys flying around. Intensity was good. Communication was good. A lot of recall from the guys that have been here within the scheme. So excited to see the tape. But it's just day one.
Just for you, year two, how much different is it to go in with knowing faces and names and things like that?
Yeah, I mean it's night and day difference. You know the roster. You know what you are trying to accomplish. You're not trying to figure things out. You know what I mean? We got to keep most of the staff as well, so there's some cohesion there. So just in a much more I don't want to say comfortable, but a much more educated place.
Same vein. What are you seeing from the players now that they know what to expect from this and you guys?
Yeah, same. The same. They're educated as well. They know the standard. They know they're not figuring out what the routine is. They're speaking the same language. They're holding each other accountable a lot more than what we saw a year ago already, and so that is positive. You're starting to see leaders emerge. At a much sooner time in the calendar. So all that's positive. Again, it's just day one in shorts and t-shirts.
What do you think of the portal guys, Ryan? A lot of new guys out there.
Yeah, that just from what I've seen from workouts and again just day one in helmets, we're seeing what we saw on tape, and some of them have sort of exceeded expectations, and so that's always good. The thing I like about all of them though is they all got a chip on their shoulder, and they've all came and put their head down and went to work.
Speaking of chip on your shoulder, do you think the team is playing with a little bit more of a chip on their shoulder, especially going into a new year with a very tough schedule, expanded conference, and with the way you guys finished last year?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, coaches, players, old and new players alike, everybody's got a chip on their shoulder. The guys that have been here, we all went 4-8 a year ago. And, guys in the portal, they were in the portal for a reason, and they've got something to prove as well. And as much as we don't pay attention to social media and stuff like that, you still hear it, and you still hear 18 out of 18. So of course we got a chip on our shoulder.
How do you walk that line, Ryan, in spring practice? You got to get work in, but you got to keep these guys healthy for the fall. Where's that line drawn?
Yeah, you got to be smart with the reps, which is why again I'm glad we got the guys we got. We got about 102 guys on the roster right now, so reps will be spread evenly. A lot more walkthrough time with some of the newer guys that we think might play. But you still, like you say, you still got to get work. You still got to get timing. They got to learn how to practice against each other while still playing tough and physical, keeping each other up and recognizing that we're playing Purdue on Purdue, and you're not winning games right now, but you can definitely make it harder if you're not playing smart.
How's Hudson Card changed?
Man, much more relaxed. Physically, I think this time a year ago he was 190 pounds. He's 212 now. It's his locker room. I think the guys really respect him as a leader, and so you're starting to see him be more vocal. Year two in a system for a quarterback, just a much more understanding and command of the offense. He is looking like QB1. You know what I mean? And so that's good to see. I'm glad he's here.
Speaking of leaders, you have a freshman All-American safety that these guys respect, and based on what he did on the field, but it seemed like he took control of the guys in his group.
Yeah, absolutely. Like you said, the work he did on the field and the way he carried himself in the locker room, you have to listen. You're a fool not to, and so I'm glad that he's comfortable stepping into a real leadership role and being more vocal, and definitely he's got every right to have the confidence that he has.
Can you guys speak on the unveiling of his banner today? What it not means just for the program, but for him as well?
Yeah, it's a great story, right? Like you got a freshman from right down the street who stays home and accomplishes what he accomplished. 106 tackles and 6 interceptions. That's crazy. And for him to be a freshman and to carry himself the way he does, his legacy will now be etched in Purdue history forever. And to do that in year one is remarkable. And the scary thing is that he's only going to get better. It's just a start.
For you personally, did you kind of get a chance to catch your breath for the first time this offseason, and then just kind of clarity of you?
No, there's no catching. I'll catch my breath when I retire. There's always work to do. Whether it's, right now it's trying to raise money in the collective and recruiting and trying to be innovative with what we're doing schematically and finding ways to creatively allow for opportunities to gain chemistry with new faces and all of those things while still being a husband and a dad and being a head football coach. So definitely not catching my breath, but I feel like this is what I'm supposed to be doing, what I'm meant to do, and where I'm meant to be, and so I'm enjoying every moment of it.
Hey, Ryan, two positions that probably have seen the biggest influx of talent: the O-line and the receiving core. Talk about those. You got 4 portal linemen, 3 portal receivers, 2 JUCO offensive linemen. Just what you see from those guys, and comment on that influx of talent.
Yeah, up front definitely got bigger. Like you said, we took six guys, and one of the high school guys is here as well. And I think the smallest one is 6'4", 315, and so we definitely beefed up up front. What I've seen from those guys is, not only they're big, they're also athletic. I think Coach Johnson's done a really good job of getting some cohesion there, and also, Gus and Marcus Bowe and Musa sort of taking control and running that group. Wide out, like C.J. Smith is legit fast, like Olympic type fast. So it's fun to watch him run around. Cam Brown is smooth. He's fluid. He's a vet. You can tell he's played and logged a lot of minutes. So it's just first day and helmets, but you gotta be excited about the potential of both those groups.
Jamal Edrin looks like he's coming back
He's
into
close,
form.
yeah.
So.
I don't think I've seen somebody recover as fast as he has, from that type of injury. But it's not a surprise because the way he's worked. He lives in the training room, lives in the weight room. Didn't go home for any of the breaks, just to rehab. He's a guy that really loves football, and it shows. And I can't wait to get him out here, full go.
Any specific goals you're hoping to accomplish this spring?
Yeah, one, just for our team to learn and master the techniques and fundamentals of what we're trying to do from a schematic standpoint, to develop depth and chemistry, and the final goal is to just stay healthy coming out of spring.
How do you feel about the rush-in spot? Nick Starr,
Yeah.
Jenkins, and then Sanders. Got some four guys there too.
Yeah, they look the part. They're long, they're athletic, they're strong. With CJ and Sheeta and Jira, those guys they're what you want in rush ends. Will Helt is in year 2 as well, and he walks in the locker room, he don't look like a sophomore, and so I'm excited about that group. Obviously, Nick and his production you're not going to replace that with one player, unless you got a really, really big collective. So, but those guys are all working and communicating and diving into what we're doing schematically.
Will you be able to figure anything out with special teams this spring?
Absolutely. Like I said, we got a lot of guys that will be here in the fall, and so learning the techniques that we're preaching from a punt and kickoff and KOR and punt return standpoint. You find out a lot, and then we'll have some competition with the specialists in terms of the kicking and punting come the fall.
Where are you from a standpoint of the collective now compared to when you came in?
It's leaps and bounds. Like, we wouldn't have been able to sign any of the guys that we signed in the portal a year ago. Like, wouldn't even be able to get on the phone with them. And I'm not saying that we were the highest bidder by any means, or not. I wouldn't say bidder, but the highest collective opportunity. But because of the strength of the collective and what we have available, we were able to get in conversation, and then we get them on campus. Purdue speaks for itself, and the facilities speak for themselves. And I think the atmosphere here is unique and attractive to guys that are 19 to 22.
Why moving Kyden Jenkins inside linebacker?
For us as a team, I think it helps the inside backer room. We don't have a lot of depth there. And for him personally, he was ultra productive as a rush end. But I think for him to add value at the next level, you know, when he's out on the edge, he's a little undersized, but as soon as he steps back, he becomes a big athletic linebacker. And so I think that was one of the reasons why, you know, we were able to retain KJ, and you know, him and you know, Coach Kane have been sort of keeping up to speed with what we're trying to get done from a schematic standpoint. So I'm excited to see, you know, how that room shakes out from a competitive standpoint.
Who's the number 2 quarterback?
You know, if we had to go today, it would probably be like Northwestern, right? You got Ryan Brown and Bennett sort of battling. Maybe Ryan has a, you know, we got to watch the tape, but you know, that number 2 spot will probably go all the way through camp. But we got some talented guys there.
Health-wise, some guys from red today. Can you talk about guys who may be limited this spring, maybe guys who are out totally this spring?
Yeah, you know, guys that, you know, had sort of end-of-year surgeries will be out. We got some guys that kind of got dinged up just during the winter workouts with some, you know, soft tissue, minor stuff that will trickle into the practices here soon. But you know, overall we're pretty healthy comparatively.